Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Caden. With me is my co-host, JJ.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I just wanted to talk about Star Wars because that's the most non-controversial topic on the internet. So everybody bitches about Star Wars. So I thought, in this ideal situation, you and I could pitch some Star Wars to each other.
Yeah, because nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. So,
No, nobody is more self-hating than Star
yeah,
Wars
so we might
fans.
as well make more projects by the
Yeah,
fans for the
that
fans to hate.
we're going to make more projects that are never going to see the light of day. So at this point, this has just as much legitimacy
Yeah,
as, any Star Wars project announced at Celebration.
yeah, that's true.
In this hypothetical, you and I are the heads of Lucasfilm, and we're just going to pitch projects to each other. I guess I'll start. I worked very hard on this one. This is my first one out of the gate. I'm going to go for it. I'm pitching
Yeah,
the quick and the Quadaneros, Mos Espa Drift.
a man after my own heart.
You know what? Because you know what we need is a down and dirty pod racing movie.
I actually have a paragraph about a pod racing
Oh,
movie written.
Okay, well, mine was a joke, so take it away.
All right. Well, I figured if you're going to do pod racing, the one time we've seen it is on Tatooine with clearly run by the Hutts. It's like an illegal operation of sorts.
Uh-huh.
And so I figured you either do a movie or you could do a series where they're hopping from the Hutts are ruling the Outer Rim, and we see multiple Hutts in the Clone Wars and things. So each race is run by a different Hutt. So you see the same racers jumping from planet to planet, and they're racing against each other. And either you could do maybe someone is trying from the Republic is trying to infiltrate the mob that is the Hutts, or you're just following
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, or it's just you could just do Fast and Furious 1.
Yeah,
but they're not stealing DVDs.
They're stealing death sticks.
Yeah,
obviously.
So either someone's trying to infiltrate the racing circuit, or you're just following some up and coming racer.
Yeah.
And then you go from there.
I think that works because I know people bitch about that 10-minute long pod racing.
It's the best 10 minutes of that movie.
It is the best 10 minutes of the Phantom Menace.
As a kid, I had the pod racing game, and there were times when I would put in Star Wars Episode 1 in the VHS player, and I would just fast forward to that scene and watch it.
It's because it's rad. I know people hate it, but it's dope. And then you could just make it, you just take the maps from Pod Racer, the video game.
Yeah.
And that's the movie. It's just you design a plot around it.
Yeah.
No, that's a perfect one.
And you also get Star Wars fans love having their little cameos and things. So you get a Jabba the Hutt cameo, you get a Sebulba cameo.
Mm-hmm. Ben Quadaneros
cameo.
Did you know that he's out of all? Oh, okay. I guess I texted you about this the other day. I asked you who your favorite Glub Shido was, and you had no clue what I was talking about.
I had no idea what Glub Shido was.
So for those of you that also don't know what a Glub Shido is, it is your favorite bullshit background Star Wars character is a Glub Shido. Mm-hmm. And apparently I didn't know this, but with with boys that are 15 to 20 years younger than us, high schoolers, middle schoolers, apparently Ben Quadaneros is an icon.
He's this generation. He's the Star Wars version of Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah, he is the Star Wars Skibbity Toilet. So
I have no idea what Skibbity Toilet is.
I don't know either.
All I know is Michael Bay's making a movie that's going to be awful.
Yeah, no, the Skibbity Toilet movie. It will be. If you thought a Minecraft movie was bad, just wait until they destroy the theaters when Skibbity Toilet comes out.
Yeah. The one thing that I think is interesting too about the possible pod racing movie is that they mentioned that humans can't really do it. So they're going to have a whole cast. The only way they could have a human do it is if it was a Jedi infiltrating the mob.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that would really work, because Anakin did it, and you're just going to have another Jedi pod racing.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just have to have whoever the main character is can't be a human character.
Well, but at that point,
humans can't pod race.
We've sat through 2 Avatar movies. I think we can sit through a Star Wars movie where it's he could be a Zabrak. At that point, he's just a human with horns, or a Twi'lek or something.
Maybe it's just whatever Ki-Adi-Mundi is, just a big head.
A big head.
Just a guy with a big head.
A cone head.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, because what is that Ryan Gosling movie is titled like Star Wars, like Starfighter. I
Yeah.
feel like maybe it could be a racing movie. At least the logo implies
Yeah.
it. I have a better pitch for a Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie:
Okay.
The Datapad, a Star Wars story.
You and I came very differently prepared for this.
I'm proposing a shot-for-shot remake of the Notebook, but it's just set in the Star Wars universe. No, but actually, my,
Are you just trying to bait Star Wars fans who've never watched anything that's not a science fiction movie into watching The Notebook?
yeah.
Incredible. That is great work, my friend.
Once I figured out we weren't recording yesterday, I just went into Photoshop and I spent like 3 hours in it.
I am looking forward to your work.
uh no, but I guess this is my first real one. As I was thinking about it, and I guess in an interview Tony Gilroy was like, yeah, they're like working on a horror movie project, and
Mhm.
I'm pitching a Star Wars horror movie. I don't have like a plot outline for it. I feel like the low hanging fruit is a slasher movie starring Vader. Like
Yeah.
Vader is Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger or whatever. I think that's lame. Um, that feels like some Reddit BS.
That feels very much like something that's I was about to trash. I was about
Certainly,
to trash Star Wars theory so hard.
that
I
feel,
was gonna say that sounds like something a theory channel might make up.
yeah, no, it definitely does sound like Theory Channel content. But I don't have a story in mind, but I do have a director.
Okay,
I
okay,
want James Wan's Star Wars horror movie
okay.
because essentially, like the first Aquaman movie is just a Star Wars movie. Like,
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
I
so
didn't think about that before, but it is.
it's just a Star Wars movie. And he cut his teeth on making horror movies. Let's just marry those two concepts
Mhm.
and just James Wan horror movie. Let's go for it.
I actually had an idea for a horror movie
Oh, okay, let's hear it then.
that one of two ideas. I kind of have two horror movie pitches,
Mhm.
maybe three. One of them is just you just do Alien and
Yeah,
it's Star Wars
yeah.
and it's fine. And someone will make a half decent Alien movie. It'll be a 7 out of 10. You throw it out there, horror fans will like it, Star Wars fans will like it.
So I came up with that same idea, but then I went into a different place. You make Predator, but it's a
Uh,
Star Wars movie.
okay. So my two one of my kind of things I was thinking of is you make it so you either do like a group of smugglers, or maybe you have room, you could do a master and an apprentice, or maybe two Jedi Padawans together. They crash land on a planet, and little do they know they crash land right into like an old Sith temple. And they have to make their way through the Sith temple, so there's all this dark side energy. So it makes it very Star Wars,
Mhm.
where maybe there's not necessarily a dark side user waiting for them at the end, but you have this master and apprentice who have to face their fears, and they have to acknowledge like this is all about overcoming fear to and testing their devotion to their Jedi ideals to have to make it through this dark side temple that they.
See, that was one of my ideas. I was going to set it on Dagobah and have it be the
Yeah.
fear
I
cave.
did briefly think of that, like Dagobah Fear Cave, and then I just jumped to okay, you find an old Sith temple, and these guys have like maybe they get sent out, and they don't even crash land. It's just that hey, someone said they found an old Jedi temple. They go there, and maybe it's not what they think it is.
See, I thought about the Dagobah one, and my mind immediately jumped to that episode of like Rick and Morty with like the fear pit. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like
Yeah,
is their fear just gonna be like public humiliation and like rejection? And I'm
yeah.
like, that's lame. The other one that I was at, uh, do you know about like the Death Troopers book?
Is that the
It's
book
just
where it's like zombie
it's just Han Solo and
stormtroopers?
Chewbacca on a like in a zombie movie, but it's
Yeah,
on a Star Destroyer.
yeah. I think people pitch that all the time.
I'm just do that. Like, but like
Yeah, like,
it's
but you could
but
do it. Like,
yeah. Well, you could do it for like less. You could probably do it for
are
$80 million.
you
You
going to
build.
bring back everybody's favorite actor, Alden Ehrenreich,
Oh,
for
that
that?
is actually another one of my pitches. Is just make a Solo sequel, but as a Disney Plus show. Like
Yeah,
the cast in that is fine. The cast is great. I enjoy it. Alden Ehrenreich. I think he got
They
too
still
much
have
hate.
the Millennium Falcon set sitting around. It will cost us no money.
They film it in
Yeah,
Galaxy's Edge. Who cares?
yeah. Just go on the go on the Millennium Falcon ride and just film for do a bottle episode,
Yeah, no,
and you're
like,
fine.
well, and like Andor has shown us that, like, you could do low budget Star Wars where you don't have to see a bunch of stuff. It can just
Yeah,
be Han and Chewie going on adventures. There's that promised Lando TV show Andor movie. Whatever's going to happen.
that's
I
never
don't.
gonna happen.
Yeah, it's never going to happen. Like Donald Glover's too big for.
Yeah, Disney's gonna see what his agent's telling him that he's asking for, and they're just gonna say, "Yeah, we're not making this anymore."
Yeah, no, but like legitimately, Alden Ehrenreich, he hasn't been in anything since Solo. Just put him in that; he'll be fine. I guess. I'm sorry.
Maybe they'll go the David Zaslav route and they'll make half of it and then cancel it.
And yeah,
No, they'll do everything but the special effects and then put it on the shelf and push the delete button.
yeah, no, that's exactly what they'll do. But like, I don't know. I feel like Alden Ehrenreich deserves a second chance, and they recast Bail Organa in
Yeah,
Andor. So I feel like that's the big hurdle Star Wars needs to get over. Is if you're going to bring back legacy characters, just recast them
just
at this
yeah.
point.
And the funny thing is, like, Star Wars fans are always asking for recasts for the original trio, and it's just like they're okay with it. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think anyone really has that much of an issue. And also, the MCU is about to recast everybody,
yeah,
so
no, well, and it's like, oh wow, it's like Carrie Fisher has a daughter that is the perfect age to be playing Princess Leia, and she's also an actress. Like,
yeah.
I feel like Solo just deserves another shot, and that's kind of where I'm at. Um, do you have any like animated stuff in mind?
I figured that they could do like a Star Trek Lower Decks Rick and Morty situation where you
Okay.
just do a funny animated show. Maybe it's a little crude, and
Hmm.
you just follow some funny characters going around the galaxy, just bopping around. Maybe they're Imperials on a Death Star Destroyer, or maybe they're Rebels or something like. It could even be Han and Chewie just
I will see
bopping
you
around.
that, and I'll raise you. Just release Star Wars Detours on Disney Plus.
Oh, fair enough.
They have like, I think like 49 episodes done in the can,
Yeah,
just on a hard drive collecting dust somewhere.
yeah, that's
It's
the
ridiculous.
David
Like,
Zaslav method.
they've already done it. No, he learned before he took over, Warner Discovery. He checked out Lucasfilm.
Yeah, this show is great, but imagine if you could just get all of the tax benefits without releasing
From
it.
having not released it. No, at the time, I understand why they didn't release Detours. Like, Star Wars was in a very different place when Disney bought it. What was that, 10 years ago now? 15 years ago?
A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
uh no, like, I think at the time people just wanted, like, as much as we crap on The Force Awakens now, that's what we wanted in 2015.
I mean,
And
they didn't have to do the Death Star all over again,
yeah, that's
but
true.
like
Yeah.
you could make that movie without the Star Killer base at the end, and that's exactly what the fans were asking for.
No, yeah, that's exactly it. But yeah, I think enough time has passed. Like, just release Detours. Let's get it on with. But I've kind of realized, I heard somebody else talking about this, where like Star Wars animation, like for a bit, like animation was where Star Wars lived, and
Yeah.
and it redeemed the prequels in a lot of ways. I think people older than us still resent them, but
Yeah, I would definitely like I like the prequels growing up despite kind of slow as I got older realizing like, hey, half of this movie is really boring and doesn't make any sense and I'm 12.
I just remember being a little kid and being like, "So Anakin's like the good guy?" Like, okay,
You remember when he killed all of that? He literally commit a genocide and
yeah.
then they were like, "Nah, he's fine."
And then I dressed up as him as Halloween,
Yeah.
5 months later. No, but I think actually my original headspace was just do Clone Wars, but for the original trilogy. Just set it
Yeah.
after Jedi. Let's see what Han, Luke, and Leia are doing, because Clone Wars immediately proved that even it's been less than 3 years. You can recast Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor with voice
Yeah.
actors, and nobody cares. So
Yeah.
I'd say that logic should apply with every character. But as I kind of sat on it, let's just do Clone Wars, but for the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
So like,
Okay.
let's get like and make a big push for it. Like, have it be Star Wars for a bit. Like,
Yeah.
put if the Mandalorian and Grogu bombs at the box office,
Yeah.
put the franchise on ice. And in the meantime, just develop a sequel series, animated series that follows Finn, Ray, and Poe after episode 9 and ingratiate a whole group of fans to these characters. And then you have something to build off going forward.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And they don't really have a lot of room to play with between The
No,
Last Jedi and like The Force Awakens or even Last Jedi and Rise
you
of
have
Skywalker,
a
but
year, I think, is the canonical timeline betwing the two.
yeah.
So
So
I
they could
just,
maybe do a little bit in between, but just skip it. Just go
yeah,
right
just,
after. You have Finn and Ray, and Ray's trying to train Finn
yeah,
in the Force,
yeah,
and she's starting her own Jedi. Like, just do what everybody wanted out of the sequels. What they wanted to see Luke restarting the Jedi, and you just do all of that. But now instead of Luke, it's Ray,
yeah, no,
and
yeah.
people will like Ray because she's just going to be Luke anyways.
Well, and that's the one that I think that's the animated series that I think makes the logical sense. The one that I want in my heart of hearts is a Luke Skywalker Jedi Academy,
Yeah.
animated series. Um,
How many seasons until it all burns to the ground?
you said it far enough. Like you said it. Okay, all I really want from it is I want Mara Jade, so I can know
Mhm.
that like Luke Skywalker didn't die a virgin on like like but like just essentially because I feel like we could set it up in a way where we Star Wars is rife with manipulating the perception of things.
Yeah, and like it doesn't like you could do whatever. Like Ahsoka didn't exist between Attack of the
No.
Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and now she's a fan favorite character who's popping up everywhere.
Yeah,
So
so
like
like let's just
you
take
can make an Ahsoka who just didn't exist before, and
I
people will fall in love with
I would
a
suggest
character all
that,
over again.
and I hope I'm not stealing anything from your cavalcade, but just take Kyle Katarn and make him a character in the show, and
Mhm.
just like just look at do like the one thing I can say that Dave Filoni is doing right is he's looking at the EU and he's looking at what works and he's just
Yeah,
taking from there, and just do that with Luke and have it be like, oh yeah, like he was
yeah.
the last Jedi, but
That doesn't mean he was the last light side Force user running around the
yeah.
galaxy.
Or even just like be like, yeah, like in the context of this movie, he's like the last Jedi, but like Kyle Katarn's over here. He's got like, he has the satellite campus and it didn't get burnt
Yeah,
down.
and then one day Luke will just show up as a Force ghost and be like, "I'm here now."
I'm here now with my Jesus haircut. I laughed audibly when Luke's Force Ghost showed up in that movie. I about died. He's like long, flowing,
Mhm.
Christ-like hair, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like,
So I had an idea for a heist movie. You probably set it during the Clone Wars, and you take all of those Clone Wars bounty hunters that everybody loves, and
mhm.
they get their own 2-hour movie, and they're doing a heist, and they're bad dudes, and you love them because everybody loves them because everyone loves bounty hunters in Star Wars. So you just maybe they're breaking into a bank, they're robbing something, whatever they're doing for the whoever's hiring them, and you just follow a legit Ocean's 11 style heist movie where you have a team and they all have a niche and they go out and they go and they rob someone.
This is Embo. He does hats.
Yeah, and Embo throws his hat at like 100 dudes and everybody loves Embo.
And he says it's ending time. I don't know. Oh man. Embo apparently is I've heard that he is in The Mandalorian and Grogu as the bounty hunter hunting them. And I'm like,
Oh, doesn't okay, that's fine.
that's like where I'm like, okay, Filoni, you've like your
He's
Filoniisms have crossed the line
he's
for me.
starting to burn the food.
Yeah, I'm like, stop cooking.
This is bro is no longer cooking us in a crock pot.
Yeah, no, like legit. Like, I guess that's currently my biggest frustration is how much of Star Wars is Dave Filoni's characters.
Yeah.
Um, I want it
I'd
to
like to
be.
see a little bit more of outside creatives coming in, kind of like what it seems that the Ryan Gosling movie is going to be,
I hope so.
and like what Andor is. Just someone who comes in and says, I love Star Wars. I want to make this thing. It's not connected to anything else. Maybe I use one or two characters that are pre existing. And I just get to make a thing, which kind of goes into my one of my other ideas is just let Ryan Johnson cook. This
Yeah,
dude is out here making fantastic movies away from Lucasfilm. Everybody loves his movies. They're like the glass, not glass onion, the Knives
Knives
Out
Out.
series, the
Yeah,
Knives Out movies. like I've only heard people say good things about them. Just let him do his own. He could make his own murder mystery in the Star Wars universe, or what high concept, whatever he wants to do. Let him make his trilogy. Just tell him the one rule is don't touch the characters people like because you did it once and people
Yeah.
got mad about it.
Well, and I
So
think that's exactly it. Is just be like, create in the universe. Don't touch the stuff that's
yeah,
already there.
just
Yeah.
let this man make his trilogy and just bathe in the cash as it flows in.
Yeah, no, well, and that's the other thing is I'm really interested in like low budget Star Wars because Andor essentially released this last season in like mini movies, and I think the entire budget was like 200 million for the entire series, so I think it busted down to like about 10-11 million dollars an episode.
Yeah,
Like, so we can make a good $30 million Star Wars movie. You
yeah,
know,
that's the thing. Like the mid budget movie just needs to make a comeback.
yeah,
You can make a good movie for 30, 40, 50 million dollars and just it's got Star Wars on it. People are going to come watch it.
yeah, I agree. No, and
Even if
that's
it's bad, it'll make 150 million in its opening weekend.
well. How much of this do you think we just need to explore different genres in
Yeah.
Star Wars?
I think that's a big deal that I think they need to explore is just more genre stuff. It doesn't all just need to be sci-fi, adventure, action, whatever.
So, how do you feel about like the biopic in Star Wars? Because I have a pitch.
I You know what?
A
I'm
complete
here
reboot
for it.
starring Timothy Chalamet as Max Rebo. A complete reboot. James Mangold is making a Star Wars movie.
Hmm. I looking at that cast you had on there, that is
It's
that is
tight.
peak right there.
Yeah, no, like that might be the end of my Photoshop jobs. That one was my favorite and
Yeah,
the one I'm the most on board for. Like, finally a Chalamet movie
yeah.
that I want to go see.
Speaking of murder mysteries and genre films, just you can just make a Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot style thing, and I think what they should make the lead detective a droid and his assistant. That it'll be because the detective is always this weird, quirky guy who's way too smart for himself. So just make that character a droid because that's basically what they are, anyways.
Yeah, except they
Or
don't
you
have
flip
right.
it around and the human character is that way, and then the Watson assistant character is a droid who's much more grounded
Yeah.
than the actual character that's the detective. And
Well,
you can just do Murder on the Orient Express or whatever you want to do and just make it Star Wars. It'd be cheap. You could just everyone will like it.
yeah, no, I think
Like,
that's great. No, the only thing I'm always concerned about is I feel like Star Wars is obsessed with having to be like tied into a previous character.
yeah.
Um, if you're going to make a murder mystery movie, and you have to have that like element
Yeah.
there where it's like you have to have a main character tied into it. I'm going to pitch a young Dooku.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
They send in a weird murder happens and they send in Dooku to figure out what was going on.
yeah, Dooku and Qui-Gon Jinn, if you really want it,
Yeah.
whatever. And
And
that's
Rail Avara
rail,
Avalos.
rail,
Avararas.
Manny Both. Oh, how do you feel about Manny Bothans? I guess have I told you about this?
No, I don't know anything about Manny Bothans.
So Mon Mothma is very upset because Manny Bothans died to bring us these
Oh,
plans. In the Tag and Bink comic series, which is just like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, but Star Wars, it's like the Lion
okay.
King one and a
They
half.
named the character Manny
His
Bothans.
name is Manny Bothans, and I am like here for a Manny Bothans movie.
All right, all right. Manny Bothans, I feel you.
Yeah. Another one. I just like the fact that Christopher McQuarrie has made like what 4 Mission Impossible movies, and they're all of
Mhm.
like the same quality. Just give the guy a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, you can even make Tom Cruise be in it.
I would love to see Tom Cruise as a Star
Tom
Wars.
Cruise would stab himself with a lightsaber live on screen, and then we could watch him be revived,
He'd be
and that
like,
would be his stunt.
I learned force healing for
Yeah.
this role. He might not take it. It might be too close to his religion, but
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I think that's really at the end of the day what like Star Wars needs is that shot in the arm just of playing with the genre.
Mhm.
Um, at the same time, like I guess there's the other side of the argument. Do you just put the franchise on ice? Even though they spent $4 billion on it.
You could. I kind of like your idea. Just maybe just stop making movies and
Mhm.
maybe you just have one animated show going that releases a season every year. Maybe you have two shows, so you get one or two seasons of a new thing every single year, and
Mhm.
just don't release any big Star Wars things outside of Disney Plus for 5 years, 10 years.
Well, and I think we almost had that with The Mandalorian. I think if we had gotten The Mandalorian
Yeah,
seasons 1 and 2 and then no other shows, and then the
yeah,
movie came out when like the third season had, or if the Book of Boba Fett didn't kind of like it's whatever.
yeah. Like it was fine, but the problem is when you make something that's fine, people just are like, "Well, I'm not watching the next one because this was just
Well,
fine."
and that's what happened is Mando season 3 was whatever. Book of
Yeah,
Boba Fett was whatever.
whatever.
And then Skeleton Crew, which should have been a movie. Skeleton Crew should have been a
Yes,
movie.
should have been a movie, but
Suffers. It pays like it pays for the other two show sins, and I think that's
you
ridiculous.
know
Like,
how I told you that I have a very short, a very short bullet point?
yeah,
More Jude Law.
I agree. Like, I just want
Just
more.
bring the man back.
He
It
is
just
so good in that
He's
show.
so good. He carries the whole show. Like the
He's just,
kids are great. The kids in the show are great. They're
but
just good
he's
kids in a kids
endless.
show.
But Jude Law's endlessly charismatic.
Yes. Bring him and his weird robot friend back, whatever,
Mhm.
SM33,
Yeah,
and just honestly, I bet this if they make a season 2 of Skeleton Crew, it's going to be the kid breaking Jude
they
Law
will.
out of jail to
Yeah,
escape the whatever prison he's in because
yeah.
the kid wants to go on an adventure again.
I'm so bummed out that that show kind of underperformed because I'm like, oh wow, this is delightful, and
Also, like if you like young kids probably would have loved that show, I imagine. It's
oh yeah.
just Star Wars for kids, and it's just good family Star Wars that like hasn't really been around since the original trilogy.
I think Star Wars should be, like a family experience at its core. And I think that's what
Mhm.
Skeleton Crew did so well that I feel like is missing. And I feel like The Mandalorian Grogu, I'm really interested to see what do you suspect it'll do at the box office?
I assume it'll be middling. If it's just a 7 out of 10 movie, it'll make 400 to $600 million, and
Well,
it'll be
okay.
fine.
And I'm using Thunderbolts as a metric, where
Yeah,
Thunderbolts is like the first legitimate good MCU movie, I would say, since Shang-Chi.
yeah,
And I don't think it's going to cross 400 million at the box office.
that's
It,
that's interesting because it used to be every Marvel movie was pencil in 600 million, and every even a Marvel movie about a character no one's ever heard of is guaranteed 600 million.
So this weekend, I was looking at it, made 11 million, and it looks like it's going to stall out at around the $350 million mark.
Yeah, maybe pencil in Mandalorian and Grogu at 400.
Yeah.
Unless it's a 10 out of 10. If it unless it's a 10 out of 10, it could make like
Yeah.
just under a billion
Well,
probably.
and I don't know. I
But
felt
the
like
other thing is people are just going to wait. They're going to say, "Oh,
Mhm.
The Mandalorian, it must be on Disney Plus."
Well, and everybody was pumped for those first two seasons. I think the
Mhm.
show kind of faded off. Like, and
I
maybe
I
because
legitimately don't care about The Mandalorian anymore.
I can't watch. I didn't finish this third season.
I watched all of it and I was like, this is
I've started
I
it
don't
3
like
times.
Bo-Katan. I don't like any of these
Yeah.
characters. They're all whatever.
Hmm.
Like
No,
the problem is the story ended and then they just wanted to keep making it. So they just kept making it. But it's like this is no longer even about the characters the show started as.
and this is one of my other ideas. This is something that I'm at war myself with. Is I just want a good Boba Fett movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't think I really think the Mandalorian has supplanted Boba Fett as like
Hmm.
the new Boba Fett in
Yes.
Star Wars zeitgeist, only because they shit the bed on that TV show. Like, I
Yeah.
want Boba Fett like out there
Just
disintegrating
yeah.
mofo's.
Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett just laying waste to do
Mhm.
everything going like at all anything to get at whatever his bounty is.
Yeah, no, like I just want to see like a hardcore. It could be, how they have those like Marvel special presentations. I just want
Yeah.
that, but like Empire Strikes Back era
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Just
I just
an
want,
hour of Boba Fett laying waste to random dudes to
yeah,
get his
I
high
want to see
profile
him
target.
burning Uncle
Yeah.
Owen and Aunt Beru.
We need to see some disintegrations. That's what we're saying.
Oh man, yeah. No. That being said, like out of the current Star Wars slates that exist, we've got the Lando movie we've talked about. Do you think the Taika Waititi movie is ever going to get off the ground?
I don't know. He's no
Yeah.
longer directing the Thor movies. Thor:
Uh,
Love and Thunder
I
was
know recently they gave him a writing partner for the movie. Somebody is co-writing it with him.
okay. I
Yeah.
actually think Thor: Love and Thunder had some very good moments in it, but
Mhm.
it was definitely off the rails for a lot of it.
And then there is the James Mangold movie, which is supposed to be about like the origins of the Jedi. I don't know if that's going to happen. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world where everyone gets hired for Star Wars and fired from Star
yeah.
Wars, so
Well,
who
I'd rather
knows?
see James Mangold's Swamp Thing movie than
Yeah.
the one that I actually want more than anything. And this is definitively like if this wasn't in development, maybe is something I'd pitch is that Rogue Squadron Patty Jenkins movie.
Mhm.
Just make it like even like
I agree.
like Wonder Woman 84, whatever. But like the first Wonder Woman movie is good enough that I think if the script
Yeah.
is good, just give it to her.
If the script is good, I believe that she could do it. But well, I don't think anyone was going to make Wonder Woman 84 good.
No, and I don't think I think it's as well directed as it can be. I don't think that's. I
Mhm.
think she did write the script with Jeff Johns, but just get like a real screenwriter on there. Get Tony
As
Gilroy.
someone who's read a lot more comic books than me, do you think that same story put into a comic would have been fine, or do you think it still would have just been?
No, like it's such a ridiculous movie. Like,
Yeah,
none of it.
but
Like, I'd say the cheetah stuff might work in a comic. Yeah, like
mhm,
if I read that depiction of cheetah in like the new Absolute Wonder Woman book, I'd be like, oh, okay, like I get it. Like, yeah,
yeah,
but I don't know the like how the wishing stone worked was so whatever. Like, it's so
I
dumb.
didn't even remember there was a wishing stone in that movie.
Well, and the fact that it has Pedro Pascal in it,
Yeah,
who is
and
just
he's just
oozing charisma, and
yeah,
he's whatever. He did give us a pretty good meme though, so
yeah, fair enough.
kudos. Yeah, no, Rogue Squadron, just even
It's some of these are just it's a layup. Just
yeah,
people love
take
the
it.
Death Star trench run. People, I don't know how other people feel, but I played the original Rogue Squadron and I loved it as a kid.
Mhm.
Like the name carries
Wait,
nostalgia for a
yeah,
lot. Like it has weight. So just
yeah,
do it.
yeah. No,
Like
it's ridiculous. Just get the guy, get one of the Top Gun guys on it. Like get whoever
yeah,
the second unit
it's
director.
just Top Gun, but it's
Star Wars.
and just don't do a trench run. That's
Yeah,
all you
don't
have to do.
no, and
It's
it'll be great.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of obvious stuff out there. Like I feel like I guess I was more of a Shadows of the Empire guy. Did you play Shadows of the Empire?
No, I played like Rogue Squadron, I played
Hmm.
Pod Racer, and then I played Jedi Academy.
Yeah. So I feel like that's another thing. It's just if you wanted to make a Shadows of the Empire like animated movie of like this is what Luke and Leia were doing to get Han in between
Yeah.
the two movies, because somebody pointed out to me that each year for the past 3 years we've been getting those Tales of series.
Mhm.
They are essentially a 90-minute Star Wars movie that is animated and well
Yeah.
done that could like, it's instead of getting these two vignettes about characters that are like whatever. Like this year they did freaking Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. And I'm like, okay, Ventress I kind of care about.
Yeah.
I know there's Cad Bane fans out there. I think he's cool when he's a background character. I
Yeah.
don't I didn't
He
need
was
to know
cool in Clone Wars when he was a thorn in the Jedi side, but
I don't
beyond
need to know his origin. Yeah, I don't
no.
need to know that he's a deadbeat dad. Did you watch it?
No.
He's a fucking
Checks
deadbeat
out
dad,
though.
dude. It's like his lady
Bad
wants.
dads are very Star Wars.
Yeah, no, bad dads are quintessentially Star Wars. No, it's his lady and him. She wants to leave the underworld, and he's like, "Nah, I gotta kill my friend who's now a cop." And then he doesn't kill her,
Uh
and then the friend adopts he marries his lady friend and adopts their illegitimate child. And I'm like, yeah, Cad Bane, bad dad. But yeah, no, just give us like a real, like, you know, instead of giving us these 90-minute like Tales of series, just make an animated movie. Like
yeah.
they don't even have to be in continuity. Like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, just do whatever they got to do.
I guess and this is something that we danced around. How do you feel about continuity in Star Wars at this point?
I don't think I actually care that much.
Yeah, I don't care either.
Like when they make a Darth Jar Jar movie, I'll be there. I'll be there day one to see it. So
Darth Jar Jar, yeah, no. Well, he's in Fortnite now, and if that's what anything children know, no, Fortnite's
yeah,
apparently it.
I have one last one on my list. How do
Okay.
you feel about Star Wars adapting the books, or like even things that are currently in canon, and just taking a book or a comic and just making it?
I'm
Because
all for it.
what I think they should do, they should take Claudia Gray's Lost Stars book.
Oh, have you read Lost Stars?
Yes,
It's
and
fantastic.
I loved it. It was great. It's got two great characters. They have very interesting plot lines, and I like that the one the girl goes her route, and then the guy does his, and it's not what you would expect them to do,
Yeah,
but the way the characters are set up, it makes sense. And
yeah,
they get to you get to do it. It could even be, it's kind of a love letter to the original trilogy. They get to bounce around, and you see these two characters going through the events of those
yeah.
movies in their own way, and they keep bumping into each other, and
Hmm.
they're supposed, like, it's the kind of movie that they could put out on Valentine's Day, and people like,
Well, and
you
that's
have
the
a
thing.
real like Star Wars, like,
It's a romance
yeah,
story
it's a
at its
romance
core,
story.
and
And
I
so
think,
like put it out on Valentine's Day, even if it goes to Disney Plus, who cares?
yeah, no, and
Just
it's great. Like, yeah, and you
yeah,
get it.
it's a great story. Just make that.
Well, and I think you do what Rogue One achieves while still having what Rogue One doesn't, where it's
Yeah.
a real story with real characters, but
Hmm.
you get to have your AT-ATs and your X-Wings, and you get to
Yes.
like play with all the toys while still
Yes.
having a movie about characters. And I
And
think
people get to drink jet juice.
Jet Juice, oh dude, Galaxy's Edge, man. Like apparently, I think Jet Juice at Galaxy's Edge is just like grenadine and like Scotch. I'm like,
Incredible.
I'm like, make it like at least like
If it
freaking.
doesn't taste like diesel fuel going down, then it's not made right.
Yeah, no, it should taste like pure like ethanol, like like
It should just be Everclear with some blue food coloring in it.
as most Star Wars is. It's just
Yeah.
whatever it is with blue food coloring. Even George Lucas's cameo in Revenge of the Sith is just George Lucas with blue food coloring.
True, true.
Oh man, no, that's I guess that's kind of where I'm at though. Is I'm just like, yeah, I think adapting the books. I think Claudia Gray. Let me double check that
Because
she
she,
wrote it.
the two that of Claudia Gray's I read are Lost
Bloodline.
Stars and Master and Apprentice.
Okay, I would suggest adapting. I guess okay. No, you can't really do this because Carrie Fisher is unfortunately passed. But if she hadn't, I think Claudia Gray's Bloodlines book, where it's just
Hmm.
Leia getting essentially excommunicated from the New Republic Senate,
Yeah,
I would have loved to watch that on Disney Plus. Like, are you kidding me?
yeah,
No, I think I think that's what Star Wars really needs to do is just to get fresh, like not be so reliant on the original
hmm,
trilogy. And that's what's so frustrating is like I want it to be. I want the iconography of the original trilogy, but we also need
yeah.
to break away from it.
The other thing I kind of feel like, that's because I feel like Star Wars doesn't really have any stakes
Hmm.
anymore.
No, no.
Like, watching the original trilogy, Obi-Wan dies in the first movie, and then Han Solo gets frozen in kryptonite at the end of the
Carbonite.
Empire Strikes Back. Carbonite. What did I say?
Kryptonite.
Kryptonite. Oh, carbonite. And then like Han Solo gets taken, which that was supposedly because they didn't know if he was coming back,
Yeah,
right?
just like Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
No, he didn't actually. The hulking out in Captain America wasn't fake. It wasn't CG. It was just them asking
Somebody
Harrison
asked him if
Ford.
he wanted to come back to Star Wars.
They were just pestering him with Star Wars questions until he legitimately hulked out.
They asked him when the next time he's going to crash his plane is.
That was actually this morning.
Oh, really?
No,
Damn
no, yeah, no, like legitimately, yeah, like yeah, Star Wars needs stakes again. No, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, well, and like honestly, when you went into the Force Awakens, you knew Han Solo was going to die, so there wasn't even
Everybody
really,
knew.
yeah.
First, I mean, Harrison Ford didn't help. He's the grouchiest man in the world. He doesn't like to. He doesn't like to actually do things.
I
So,
love to play Indiana Jones, even though he's the exact same character.
yep. Yeah, but he has a whip.
He has a whip. I don't give a fuck about what. Yeah, no, we need stakes. Well, and I think even Rogue One, everybody, there's stakes, but you know they're all dead. Like it's
Yeah, like it's building up, and you're like, I wonder why these 6 distinct characters
aren't in the
aren't
next movie.
in the next movie that takes place in 3 days.
Yeah, you're like when the gold leader guy shows up and the red leader guy shows up at the end of it, you're like, oh, they make it out because they're in the next movie.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, but like I feel like introducing some stakes, give us some characters that we love. Kill off Jude Law.
yeah.
You have to.
No, don't. Whatever you do, don't kill Jude Law.
Oh
Just
man.
only make things with Jude Law in them forever.
I'm really that's why I'm so excited, even though it's directed by Sean Levy and
Mhm.
his movies are whatever. Like he definitely seems to be Ryan Reynolds' like hitman director,
Yeah.
where it's like, I just want to have full creative control because I'm Ryan Reynolds. So I'm gonna get this guy to just put his name on it. That's what those movies feel like. But Ryan Gosling is so damn charismatic
He
that
is.
I am pumped for that
And
movie.
and bring in Russell Crowe, because Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe are the perfect tandem.
From The
And
Nice Guys, yes.
yes, from The Nice Guys. Just let these 2 guys just do whatever they want
Yeah.
together. They'll just
I,
everyone will like it's
I
perfect.
guess here's another direct. Have you seen Sinners yet?
Yeah, I
So
have.
Ryan Coogler, just like
Yeah,
give
yeah,
him a
yeah,
Star Wars movie.
yeah, do it.
Anybody that's talented in like Hollywood, just give them a Star
Yeah.
Wars movie.
Here's $150 million, make me an hour and a half long movie. Like, I don't care.
I'm convinced that Ryan Coogler is just a huge Star Wars fan. Because the ending of Black Panther is just the Phantom Menace, but better.
Yeah.
You got the duel underneath the city.
Yep.
You have the aerial battle. You have the ground assault. Like
Are you saying that Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber didn't rock your childhood?
it did. It did.
Because it rocked mine for all.
I,
It still rocks my
I,
life.
I was so obsessed with it that I had my dad take a hacksaw to my Darth Maul lightsaber so I
And
can have it be more screen accurate so it gets cut in half. Because even as a little boy, I was a huge fucking nerd.
that's true fandom right there.
I also like I'm also like at this point with Star Wars, I'm just like, let's just get a bunch of little kids in a room and see what like stupid ideas they have.
Yeah.
Because I was pitching Spider like Darth Maul for at least 10 years before it happened in the Clone
That seems
Wars.
to be a recurring theme. You're convinced like half of the things that come out of the comic and movie industry were things that 10-year-old Caden thought of.
Well, specifically Spider like Darth Maul. I was like, no, like yeah, he's got the top half still going. Just hook up some spider legs on there.
Yeah.
For me, it was long.
Are they gonna get the guy who was gonna direct that Superman movie who just loves spiders and he just says put giant spiders in everything?
Oh no, that is the he is a producer. I don't even know if what is this? Is it Ken Peters? Oh
I
man,
don't know.
yeah.
The absolute madman. If
Darth
you pitch a
Maul.
movie to this man, he will put spiders in it, and they will be big.
Darth Maul is the fiercest killer in the Star Wars universe. Oh boy. Okay, so those are our Star Wars ideas. Tell us how much you hate them in the freaking comments below.
Please do. Nothing makes me happier than the anger of Star Wars fans because it comes from the heart. I'm gonna leave my own hateful comments down below.
I don't know who this blonde guy is, but his ideas fucking suck. Rip JJ.
R.I.P.